Welcome in. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. I'm Jay Capron, Ron Solsrud here with Petland of Iowa City. We hope you're having a great day. If you're getting up, maybe going to church. If you're hearing this on Sunday, maybe you're listening to the podcast on your own time. Either way, we welcome you to the show. We're talking pets, as we always do. We've got a lot to talk about today. Ron just returning from a trade show in Minneapolis and saw some great products. We're going to talk about those. The Pug is the breed of the week, and the amazing pet story of the week is a local tie-in, a Cedar Rapids couple training a puppy to care for injured veterans. We'll tell you about that coming up here. All those stories and more. We'll talk dehydrated and frozen food, one of the newest phenomenon that's happening here in the pet industry. More and more people are hitting up the frozen food section. When you hear of a frozen food section, you normally think of your own grocery shopping and picking up some vegetables, a frozen pizza, whatever it is. But no, people are going to pick up their dog food, Ron, right?
Right. And they're easing us into it because if you equate it to that, well, then we should be going and buying, the dog steaks and stuff like that for our dog. But they're making it a lot easier and a little easier on the mind as far as that goes. So we'll talk through it's a very fun thing is all I'm going to, preface it with when you start thinking about that kind of nutrition for the dog. And all we're going to talk about today is you add it to your existing program. So it's a nice, really easy way of putting some different things in your dog's diet.
Nice. And do you have desserts for them, like popsicles or anything like that?
Yeah, you know what? We actually went there with the purpose of finding that, and we did not specifically pick that up, but we will have popsicles in the store for this summer, this coming here in a couple of weeks. We'll intro it.
If you're out there with the family enjoying your ice cream, well, why not get a dog healthy one?
Right, and we'll have single serve, so you just have to buy. It's kind of like going and getting an ice cream cone. You get a single serve kind of product and feed it right there and have some fun. Very
good. That's Ron Solsrud. He owns Petland of Iowa City with his wife Wendy and family, and they encourage you to check them out. Lower Muscatines, where they're located at. They're opening up at noon today. That's being a Sunday, but most days open at 10 a.m. They have $5 nail trims, and they also have buy 10, get 1 free on dog and cat food, and free puppy classes on Sundays, too. So lots of great reasons to check it out. And one of the fun things about this show is I and listeners get to learn about all the new products, some really on the cutting edge here. Is the brand new things that are being introduced into the pet industry and pet stores, and they're at these trade shows. And so you get to see things before they maybe take off, and you get to decide which new products you want to bring into Petland. And so we're going to talk about that today. So it should be a lot of fun to hear about what was being featured at that trade show in Minneapolis. And it sounds like you had a good time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. It's like going to a toy store. You get excited. Everybody is excited about it. And so you never can get through the whole thing because you just get into these wonderful conversations with these designers and manufacturers and reps and all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about By Nature as a dog food that we went through. It was either last week or the week before. Cat food and dog food. They were there. We knew they were going to be there, and they knew we were going to be there. We all had so many ideas of how to intro this to the public because it's a locally made food. And it's a really high premium food. How do we get the public to really adopt it in as their own? And so we have some really cool ideas that they brought to the table. And I mean, buy this, get that, kind of a program. So,
nice.
So we came up with some really good ways of helping you, and you guys take advantage of the offer. It's free stuff is what it ends up being. And so you're going to try these things out, see if they work. If they do, you're going to buy it again.
Yeah, that's the idea, and just keep those customers returning. And so we'll talk about that and much, much more. This is the PAWSitively Petland Show. We thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Capron. That is Ron Solsrud. And so we'll get right into it here with the Big Voice Guy. He's back again this week, and Big Voice Guy, what's he wearing today?
Oh, pause.
Put you on the spot.
Right. Wow. I don't know how to describe.
He's peeking around the corner. We can't see him yet.
I don't know how to describe what he's doing right now.
He's peeking around the corner. Oh, he's got a full scuba gear outfit on.
It's time for the amazing.
He said he's going to find golf balls.
He's walking so goofy.
Thank you for
get in.
Holy! Did you know that's a whole industry? People dive for golf balls at golf courses.
I did not know that. I knew
they collect them all and they resell them.
I know I don't golf much, but when I do, I have that little retriever thing that I'm
in the
fishing
water.
around.
Yeah, people they put on full scuba gear, they go down in the water, collect all the golf balls, and that's what he's doing. So he makes a little money on the side besides his amazing voice.
Pay for that scuba gear.
There you go. So the amazing pet story of the week. I saw this. I always love when there's a local tie-in. I know there's been a few from Eastern Iowa. Certainly, the story of Hawkeye stands out. That dog with the Navy SEAL. There's another one from Ely we talked about, and this one's from Cedar Rapids. So I always love when it's a local tie-in. And Dylan, a golden retriever puppy, is going through the learning commands that help him become a lifelong companion for veterans with disabilities. Dylan is part of the Puppy Jake Foundation. Now, that's a nonprofit group that trains puppies to become service dogs and matches them with veterans in need of animals. The process begins with placing the puppies in a raiser's home for 2 years. Now, Caitlin and John Weidenheft, they live in Cedar Rapids. They raised Dylan, and they say they're overwhelmed. They said the initial orientation that she and her husband attended the program, they said it's a lot of work and time consuming, but they said they had a dog for us, and we said okay. So they put hours and hours of training into these puppies, taking them on special field trips to expose them to new people and experiences. They drive to Des Moines every Saturday for service dog classes. And according to Becky Beach, the CEO of the Puppy Jake Foundation, the group has placed 2 dogs with veterans, one in Carroll and one in Davenport. And right now there's about 12 veterans that are in need of a dog, but it does take a long time for this training. But once they get those dogs trained, they have these dogs for these veterans, and they have a very personal connection to those veterans. One of the dogs' name is Dylan, and it's named after a soldier who served in Afghanistan and Iraq and suffered from severe PTSD. And this dog is named after him. And the Puppy Jake, it's called the Puppy Jake Foundation, and they work really hard it takes 2 full years to train these puppies to become service dogs, and then they get them to the veterans. And as you just heard, in the state of Iowa, there's 12 veterans waiting for these puppies to help them out when they get back for whatever reason. Soldiers have a different reason that they may need this. Maybe it's an injury, maybe it's something else, but maybe they became blind from shrapnel or whatever took place, but they are able to use these dogs to help out. And so there you go. Amazing pet story of the week. Dylan, the golden retriever puppy, has been placed with a family. A veteran is now helping them out.
Yeah, I found out about them. It was a year or 2 ago, and if anybody's interested in learning more about them and you're having trouble finding them on the web, just go to our Facebook, Petland, Iowa City Facebook, and I've put a link on there on, pages that Petland, Iowa City likes. You can go, it's lower left-hand corner if you're having a hard time finding it, and you'll see their link there, and you can read all about what they do. Yeah, wonderful organization.
Yeah, another great story of animals playing such a huge role in the lives of us human beings, not only on the daily basis of just cheering you up when you had a long day at work and coming home, but also serving very serious roles, as we talk about with the dogs that are helping out police officers and military dogs, but also companion dogs that are helping the blind and people all throughout the world. Gotta love those pups, no doubt. And we'll take a break. We'll come back. When we come back, we're going to have the Pug. It's our breed of the week. We're going to talk about the different products that Ron saw at the Minneapolis trade show. And then we're going to feature frozen food and dehydrated food today for our food of the week. And we'll have some information on what that is. It's been taking off. Ron has a freezer. It's up front now, right?
Yep, it's right when you walk in the door to the left.
Can't miss it. So take a look at that. If you want to try something new, maybe your dog will appreciate that. And we'll tell you what that's all about coming up here. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show on AM 800 KXIC. And just told you when we come back, it's the Pug, the food from the trade show, and the products from the trade show, and much, much more. We'll be back with more after this. Visit Petland of Iowa City, Lower Muscatine, right across from the newly opening Lucky's Market. July 1st, they'll be open. And the mall will be buzzing even more, I'm sure. And hopefully those customers will make their way over to Petland of Iowa City, too. And again, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. welcome back. It's the Positively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. I'm Jay Capron, KXIC morning host, joined by Ron Salzard for the Petland of Iowa City. Positively Petland Show every Sunday in this 9 o'clock hour or at your convenience at KXIC.com. Just click that podcast page. Listen to this show, other great shows too, the Downtown Dish, the Lawn and Garden Show, any local interviews you missed during the week during my morning show, those are all up there too. So lots of great reasons to check out our podcast page. If you ever missed something here on KXIC, good chance you can find it online at KXIC.com. So click the podcast page and enjoy while you're working out or while you're out doing some chores, whatever it is. It's a great opportunity to listen on demand when you have time, just in case you don't have time on a Sunday morning. But if you're enjoying on a Sunday morning, we hope you're enjoying your relaxing Sunday morning. Maybe you're headed to church or you're out and about running some errands. We thank you for tuning in. And we have a lot to talk about still. So stay tuned throughout the rest of the show. We're going to talk about a lot. And we'll start right now with the breed of the week. It is the cute, squishy-faced pug. Tell us about the pug.
The pug. It is said that the pug is described by a phrase, a lot of dog in a small space. And that is really it. The liveliness of a pug. I don't think you can get that much energy packed into, and you could just see by their stocky stature and everything, but they're kind of a small dog, only 14 to 18 inches at the shoulder, and their neck is so short and everything, it's not that much taller than that. So it's a lot of dog in a little space. It's one of the oldest breeds out there, originating back to the 400 BC. Wow. The best they can see is that the Asia area was the first to adopt it. Due to its similarities, they equate it to the Pekingese, which has a similar look, but is a long-haired dog. Then the Buddhist monasteries in Tibet, that was their dog of choice. And then Europe started bringing them in, and Prince William II, King of England, adopted it, and so it then became more and more fashionable and vogue to have that pug in your house and everything. So that's the history of the pug as it came through Asia into Europe and now into America. As far as the breed goes, what I said, 14 to 18 pounds is what you're looking at as far as the dog. I think I said inches at the shoulder. I meant to say pounds.
That makes sense.
It is a shedding dog. The hair is actually, it is a shorter hair dog, but it's a little longer than other short hairs. So you are don't plan on getting a pug and saying I have a small dog and it's not going to shed much. You're going to notice a little bit of shed. It's not a big, huge dog, so you're not going to see it everywhere, but know that a Furminator is going to help you out with the shedding aspect of it. It is a good apartment condo type dog because of its smaller in size, kind of a small mid-sized dog. It does have a good amount of energy. When you see a pug, as you approach a pug, boy, you could just see the energy welling out of it. Just all the way from the legs and prancing around and doing all that kind of stuff. But you really can hear it in the breath because of that shorter nose that they have. There's some restrictions in there inherently, and you can hear a dog, the pug, doing all their, breathing and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely is a loving, great family dog as far as all that goes. And the exercise requirements, so you're not going to go really running all that much with the pug because of the nasal cavities, and it's kind of on a smaller dog. You're going to get some exercise out of it, but I just don't picture the pug going a long distance or anything like that. But fairly fun dog overall. And
they've got that twisty tail too, right?
Yeah.
The different tails. I'm actually kind of curious about that. Let's see what you know about tail. Just if we could talk a little bit about them. A crop tail. I've been talking about the Weims a lot, and I believe they have crop tails.
I always have to review them, but I believe those are going to always be cropped.
Is there a certain reason for that? I guess is my question.
Fashion is all it is. There's nothing more than that kind of aspect to it. It is at one point, people's preference. For instance, the miniature pincher, which is not related to the standard pincher, size and everything, but they cut those ears of the miniature pincher as well as the normal pincher.
Doesn't that hurt them though?
Yeah, they use the numbing and all that kind of stuff just like they would on us. But it is all for show. Yeah. And it's interesting, across the board, you will get people arguing for it. And, how dare you, not let me do this kind of stuff or whatever. And then you have the other side that says, hey, doesn't that hurt? Kind of a thing. But even the people that say, oh, doesn't that hurt, will also make the reference to a different dog and say, oh, I love the tail on that dog. Well, that's a dog, that's a docked tail. And so it's just an interesting conversation. I tend to be, on the open side. If you like it one way, that's fine. If we're in America, it's beautiful. But I do, if they're going to do any of the docking or anything like that, my thing is do it cleanly. Do it with anesthetic.
As a vet, that's a veterinarian thing.
Does all that kind of stuff and use anesthetic and all that.
See, I was wondering because Slater had that as a Weimaraner, but I didn't know if Weims were born with longer tails or if he just had a stumpy tail. But
no, I believe they are. Yeah, that's a docked tail in that breed.
Wow. Huh. Well, there you go. And I just thought of, whenever I think of those, I always think of that curly tail sometimes.
Right, curls.
Yeah, that the pugs have.
Yeah, so that is a wonderful tail on a pug.
And they are cute dogs. And the breathing is funny. You brought that up too. They do have that because of the way their face is. They do have trouble sometimes breathing, but you could tell how excited they get.
Right, so, and again, the breeder will have or should have done the work on the nose. There's some very easy ways to open that nose up for the pug. And your veterinarian, if you got a pug, can check that out and actually do the correction as well. But it's an easy way to open those passages up for a pug because sometimes just the way they were, genetically made, born, and all that kind of stuff, they sometimes pinch a little bit. But I always like, if you want to mist in the summer, put your face real close to a pug's nose, and you'll get a constant mist.
I'm sure they'll spray you pretty good. Yeah. All right, well, there you go. That's the pug. That's the breed of the week. So now let's talk about the trade show. You went up there with Coy, right?
Yeah, Coy is our inventory manager. We go to multiple trade shows throughout the year. This one is a trade show that's up in Minnesota, put on by one of the suppliers that we work with. At the store. What trade shows are great for is just discovering what's the new, the latest and greatest, kind of a thing. And then getting a chance to talk with the manufacturer, the designers, the representatives right there. And discover, what do you like about the product and what don't you? The first product, this is on small animal side of things. It's called Fresh News, and some of the cat customers know about yesterday's news, I think it was called. The guy that was heavily involved with that product, when it got sold, that product got sold to Purina, and he jumped ship. He said, I want to be more of a smaller company kind of person and all that kind of stuff. And so he's representing, and I believe designed, Fresh News. And we got to meet him there. And I told him we love his new product because there was a product we had in our store called Cellsorb that was the best for small animals. It was great for litter. In odor control, there's nothing that touched this product. So if you had a rabbit and you were a little sensitive to smells, you use this product. Well, this gentleman knew that the Cellsorb went out of business. It was a small business. Just had troubles just keeping it going. They got out, and he then came back with a product that he says is very similar, but even better than Cellsorb, called Fresh News. And we've been carrying it in our store for over a year now. We see the great results, and he has come out with the product, and he's packaging it for small animals like what we were originally using it. His Fresh News that he came out with first was for cat litter. And it's recycled newspapers and all that kind of stuff, but he's got some activated carbon and some gypsum and some other stuff in there in order to really grab onto those odors so we don't smell them. So we were very excited to bring in Fresh News for small animals. And I know for you guys that don't have small animals, you're like, what's the big deal? for us that have small animals, you're like going, oh, I love that. You can use this litter where wood chips would last for, about a week, or no, not even 3-4 days. This stuff would go a week and a half. So it's a really significantly better product put on by them. The next one that we were talking about, By Nature, which is the same company that makes world's best cat litter. And that's where we were able to start working with them on comboing back and forth and introing their new cat food and their dog food called By Nature. So in the near future, when you come in and buy world's best, you're going to get a bag of dog food, smaller bag of dog food for free to try it. If you buy their smaller bag of dog food, you're going to get their cat litter for free.
Really?
So you can try it both ways. And so we made that agreement with them right away. And then we're going to do similar stuff on the dog food. Buy the food, try the dog food and get some cans for free, and vice versa. And so they were still coming up with ways to really drive you to try their dog food so that you can see it. We have already, and I said it on the air a week or two ago, we had a testimony already. Somebody brought it home and their dog just loved it beyond anything that they saw before. And I always go, I'm always cautious if my dog just loves it. I want to know that it's a really good food. And in this case, it is. By Nature is a really good food, and it's made down in Muscatine by Grain Processing Corporation. Also, Kent.
They make the world's best cat litter, too?
And they make the world's best cat litter.
In Muscatine, huh?
Yes. And that's with Iowa corn and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really great tie-in all the way around. Wait till you see in here. All I can get is Jay's reaction. We talked about the Yao cat banana, but look at this display. It looks like a big banana tree.
It's a lot of bananas.
Yeah. And so when we were there, this is how things work. Yao cat bananas, it's probably a smaller company, really intense people about their product and all this kind of stuff. Well, the representative that I've known for a year for Yao cat banana was there as usual. He's got this really cute booth. Look at it. You can see it behind. It's all yellow and lit up and everything. Yeah,
and there's a banana screaming at the top.
And a cat. Oh,
that's a cat.
Because he's all
excited,
bonkers about the Yao cat banana.
Yeah.
And so I go, I want your display, this banana display. This is unbelievable. He goes, Ron, I just made that on my own last year. Everybody wanted it. And he goes, so this year we made it so it was sturdy and all that kind of a thing. And so it's just neat how things are made.
Are you going to use it?
Oh, yeah, you're going to see that. I want to have it front and center. When you walk in the door and you look at where our registers are at, it'll be displayed proudly there.
I bet you'll sell more cat bananas.
Oh, yeah.
I think for sure.
And the Yao cat banana is one of those that we've discovered, 9 years ago. And we brought it home and we trialed it with a bunch of the cats of the employees at the store. And we just noticed that they were just going crazy for this thing, like throwing it around and everything. So we love the Yao cat banana, and we'll talk if those are in our store right now, and you'll love them if you haven't tried them. We even have smaller ones just to trial it out to see if you like it or not. Chirpy Chews, we talked about yak cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the manufacturer of that, they're all packaged up and everything, but now he's coming with a bulk assortment. And so there's nothing better than getting it cheaper and without all the packaging and all this kind of stuff. And so we're going to have mounds of this stuff because we found dogs love hardened yak cheese so much.
Chirpy Chews.
For the reptile customers, you're going to be able to find more cage cleaners and mite removers or preventers for your reptiles. I know for the rest of you, you're going, yuck. But for the reptile people out there, they're really concerned about safe environments and all that.
Sure.
And so some really good products that we'll be bringing in for reptile cage cleaner and then a reptile spray for mites. We talked with Flexi, and you might even recognize the name. Those are retractable leads. It's a German company. It has always been made in Germany, and it's just one of those. I think they were like leaders to the market. Well, they just went through a redesign of their retractable lead, and I know a lot of you say, whoop-de-doo. when I went into that booth, she told me about the history of Flexi and how they're just, going through the redesign, and Germany actually brought all of their repping and production back into into Germany, and how they're doing things. And they have pressed the envelope on the versatility of a retractable, and you got to see it to believe it as far as what they can do with these things now. What I was impressed with was, I said, hey, all these things end up breaking. And that's what I hate the most about retractable leads. There's a great concept, but they all how you let them out and then they get stuck all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with the Flexi lead, I was in the booth and I told her that. I said, oh, yeah, that's the only problem. I go, if you show me a retractable that won't break, I'd be all about it. And so we were in the booth because of this redesign that they went through, and it's not even out on the market fully yet. So those will be coming in a month or two. But she was yanking it back and forth, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty strong. And she goes, here, you pull on it as hard as you can, and yank it and really get crazy with it. I'm telling you, I was yanking that thing all over the place, and I was laughing because I just felt funny. And then, we were halfway through, and she goes, "No, really, you can yank that thing harder." And I'm like, "Wait, I was doing it already," kind of thing. So, a really strong lead. We're bringing in the hardcore Flexi for that reason, because to add to the retractable leads that we have in there, and I just really liked what I saw there. Seemed like a really good company. Oh, here's the next one. Chicken Soup for the Soul. You guys know the stories. You know the books.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have a dog food out, and it's actually been out for a while, but how they were distributing it was really not, they didn't have a representative out there. So it really didn't catch on all that much because the stores weren't picking up, really basically because they just didn't know it existed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually know the reps that are doing it. They're friends from different companies a long time ago, really good people. And they said, hey, Ron, we want to talk with you about it. We ended up coming up with an idea. It's a premium dog food, chicken soup for the soul for dogs and cats. But we came up with a really interesting idea because of the book, because Iowa City is such a writer's, town. What did you call it?
Yeah, it's a city of literature. It's a UNESCO city of literature, and there's writers everywhere. So.
Writers everywhere that have contributed even to this book, that we're going to have an autograph, a signing unveiling within our store. And so we're putting that together. So if you're a writer and you have submit an article, talk with me personally at the store, Ron at the store, so that I can work with you on getting you engaged on this signing program that we're going to have. Probably August, September is when we're going to put some, the media buzz out there that we're going to do that. But be looking forward to that. Really interesting food, how they've made it, what they're all about. They obviously the story of chicken soup for the soul as well. So I was really excited about how unique all that was, and the tie-in right here to Iowa City as well. So the next topic, okay, it sounds maybe boring. I'm going to talk about rope for the dog, and you're going to go, well, what can you do for rope for a dog? I look for the goofiest, crazy, but yet still priced right rope for dogs. I found these displays of rope, and I was telling Jay about it. There's a rope that, gosh, that thing is like 3, maybe 4 inches in diameter. The rope itself is. Just put your hands and say, put that out 3 inches. That's how thick the rope was. And for those big dog owners out there, you're like going, finally something, because the smaller ropes, the dog will get it to the back of their jaw and just shred it. This thing, it'll last longer. It'll also be stinking funny to have this big rope. And for you small dog owners, I love getting these big dog toys for our little dogs out there, and they're just fun, and it's really colorful. So look for that coming in soon. Once we get these in, we'll get them up on the shelf right away. Last year we brought in, they're called monkey fists. This is rope now. We're not talking about monkeys. And it's just think of a ball of rope so tightly wound that it's difficult, and it's impossible to unravel this. You'd have to cut it in order to unravel it for your dog. We got them, those literally, I think the biggest one was about 8 or 9 inches in diameter. So a rope ball that big, but all the way down to about 1.5 to 2 inches. So for the small dogs as well. Real colorful. You guys loved them. We sold out almost immediately on those things once we brought them in. And so we're going to make them more of a standard item in the store. So the same company that did all of that made rope out of what only can be, I can only describe, and they described it this way as well, t-shirt material. So it would be ribbons of t-shirt that were millimeters thick, so not really wide or anything like that. And then they braided them up into some, it looks like rope, right? Look at that big one. Yeah, they look like rope with rope knots and all that kind of stuff.
Mammoth.
And he said that they were really strong as a result. And what I loved about them was they're unbelievably colorful. The display just pops at you when you look at it. And so again, we're going to be bringing those in, really economically priced as well. And so those will be in our store here in another month or so. So that's how. Do we like to have fun? The reps like lean into the photos as I'm taking these things, and so it's just they're all goofy and fun. Hey, we talked on the front end about food and freeze dried and dehydrated and frozen, and so 2 products that we're picking up. We already have Sojos in the store, and we have Instinct. Those are dehydrated, and then they have a frozen compatible product as well. What we've heard from you, our customer, is I want variety. So this year we picked up Primal. Primal is both a dehydrated product and then I'm trying to, they make a big deal whether it's dehydrated or freeze-dried. Freeze-dried, I'm sorry. For those people that know the difference, I know there's arguments on both sides of that fence on which one's better. Primal truly believes that freeze-dried is the way to go, but they also have the frozen components. Those people that are really into that, eating healthy, check out Primal's website because, wow, did they just knock my socks off with the knowledge that they brought to the table. This is one of those 5-star chefs for people that came up with the Primal brand for his dog. It was, I do find that dog food typically starts when you're having trouble with your dog, and it's usually health reasons. There's so many. Blue Buffalo was that way. Science Diet was that way. Nutro was that way. All these manufacturers, it originated with you're a consumer, your dog was having issues, and you wanted to do something special for your dog because of an ailment or whatever, and you try to work with things. Same thing here. 5-star restaurant chef said, I had a dog that was having troubles, started working with the food groups and all that kind of stuff, and made for a healthier dog. Bringing it to market, he was all about fresh. So he first came with frozen products. Found out that people have a hard time feeding the frozen products. So what he did was came up with freeze-dried. And what they have found is, let's say you are that kibble customer. I go buy the bag of kibble, I pour it in the bucket, and that's it. I'm not doing anything more. I'm going to challenge you, come into our store. We have brands in here now, and we're going to be adding additional brands, Primal and Stella, in the future, near future here. I challenge you to come into the store and learn a little bit about it, because it's one of those things you get excited about on dog food or cat food. When I am putting the kibble in the bowls in the morning for my dogs and cat, I have a little smorgasbord, and I'm telling you, it is really simple. It's not like I'm preparing food. Freeze-dried, I put the kibble, a good premium brand kibble, and then I sprinkle a little freeze-dried that's really easy to break up in there as well. What you're giving them is the natural enzymes that do get cooked out in the cooking process. Now you're giving them a diet with more of those active enzymes, more of the nutrition, because cooking also cooks the nutrition out. And so now you're giving your dog even more. And so I give my dogs little smorgasbords. Once you learn the freeze dried and how easy it is, and now you're going to see the benefit of your dog, you're going to see even healthier skins and coats. Healthier, like if you have a little upset stomach dog, you're going to see an easier time with that kind of a thing, because it's like eating yogurt. You get the enzymes into the stomach, and your stomach figures it all out. So you'll have fun with that. Then you're going to try frozen, which takes it to another level. So freeze dried was elevated in temperature, not all that much, but it was elevated in temperature. Freeze dried frozen is raw. It is it's cleaned, and it's made so that there's no salmonella type stuff or anything. They have all these processes that eliminate that out of it, so it is definitely safe for your dog. There is no issues out there in all of America with feeding these products, as far as having salmonella or any type of issues with that. So you don't even have to worry about that. Those are some neat things that we're beefing up in the store. We already have this stuff, but we're going to have a lot of different variety for you to choose from as well. So Primal is one. I talked about Stella is another one that's going to be in our store as well. And we already have Sojos, and we have Instinct. So a really nice selection of products in there. And it was fun talking with these reps, because there is a whole story to tell. And those people out there that are already eating themselves, they're eating raw and freeze dried because they know the benefit. You guys know all how to talk through it and understand why it's so good. When you come in, we'll be able to talk you through those people that are going, I give up. What's this all about? Why should I be doing it? And we'll get you hooked on that. How about those people with barking issues in their house? I found I like using at home an ultrasonic bark device in my house to prevent the barking. And so how I use it is, at the beginning, we did have one dog that was getting into it's Sassy Susie, who didn't bark at all for 6 months, and then discovered her voice and wanted to sing all day long. And so we were using the ultrasonic. It was a rather larger device, worked really well, and it just puts out a high pitched tone that they don't find pleasing. That's the not so fun part of it. They don't find it pleasing, but it only goes when they bark. So if they're not barking, life is beautiful, nothing's going on. But if they let out the bark, an ultrasonic sound goes out every time, and then they get conditioned to say, oh wait, when I bark, that happens. I'm not going to do that barking thing anymore. So we use it in our house. Usually right at their kennel. Every now and then Susie gets a little loud in the morning, and I just wake up, turn it on. Normally it's off. I have it off most of the time, but it happened last week, and I can't even tell you the time before that I turned it on. I think it was like 3-4 months ago. Turned it on, and I just walked away. I didn't even do anything more. And Susie quieted down, and guess what? She's quieted down every morning since. So it's a nice retraining. So I always say, don't give these things away. So we use this new product is much smaller. What I had was more the size of a Kleenex box, that kind of a thing. So it's a little cumbersome, a little big. This guy is so small you can hang it on a doorknob. The width of it is about a doorknob. So it's a tiny little thing. You can hang it on the doorknob. Hey, how about this for an idea? Do you have that dog that runs to the door and barks when the doorbell rings or a knock occurs? Guess where you're going to put this ultrasonic sensor? You're going to hang it right on the doorknob. So the dog's going to come tearing in there, blah, 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 ruff, 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 ruff. And then it's going to have the ultrasonic sound that you and I can't hear.
You have to hit the button though, right?
Nope.
Oh,
automatic.
As soon as it barks?
Yeah, when it barks, it's going to let it out.
Now, can anything else trigger that though?
Loud sounds can.
Sounds, okay.
And so on the one that I have right now, and I haven't really tested this one, and I'm looking at the box right now. Let me see if it says adjustable sound distraction from barking. This one is more localized within 25 feet. The one I have literally is used for the yard.
Okay.
So there's a long distance, and you can turn it up and turn it down.
And you can't hear the noise yourself?
Cannot hear it. Now, I have had some of the counselors in the store that are younger, so if your ears are really good, they do say, hey, I hear something. So if you can try it out. They didn't find it irritating or anything. They just said, I heard something. So if your child says, oh, I heard something, you understand that they can sometimes pick up that sound. but the dog hears it every time. And so it's really good for the dog bark that's running to the door or wherever you can change the location of it and mix and match it up so that the dog gets trained throughout the house.
And some dogs don't stop barking, so it's
right.
That's good,
that's what in the house barking, I find these ultrasonics are really, really good. So that was that. So here's some other products that the same manufacturer makes. One of them it's called Threshold. It's if you're trying to keep your dog from going upstairs or downstairs, it's something that you put right not on the where you step on the stair, but on the vertical portion that's holding the stair up. You paste this right on there, whether it's carpeting or you've got ceramic or you've got tile or whatever. You just kind of tack it in there with some real stickies and easy stickies that are already on the product. You put it on there, and then you put the collar on the dog. So as the dog tries to approach that area, it is a correction collar, so it gets a little static, kind of like a dog bite on their neck. And so then that prevents them from going upstairs or downstairs. So it's a really cool product, and why Threshold there is products like this already called Safe Zone. They remade that name, and I don't have them in front of me, but there are little discs that you can put in different places like a trash can, but you can't do that on a Threshold for a door on the stairwell because you're going to trip over it. This tucks it and hides it away. And then finally, Scat Mat. This is how many people want to get your cats to stop from jumping up on the counters. Me, or the table, or the chair, or the couch. There is this thing called a Scat Mat. It's battery operated, and as long as two paws come in contact with it, just a mild little static goes through. Nothing's gonna like hurt or anything like that. You can do it yourself, and you're gonna go, oh, that's not a big deal. And they're gonna come on, and then they're gonna like Yikes. Go, whoop! I'm not gonna be on here. You can use it for both dogs and cats. And I thought that was ingenious. And so Scat Mat is another really cool training product.
What do? You put the mat down wherever they're jumping?
Yeah, wherever. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to probably buy one or two, and you're going to change the location as the cat does it or the dog does it, and realize they can't see up there. So they don't know whether it's up there or not. So you can change the location of this device to get them a little confused on where it's at. The best description of it is, a really, really thin cookie cutter. It's rollable, so it's it's flexible and all that kind of stuff. If you remember the old cookie sheets that we had a long time ago, instead of the flour, you can roll out this plastic cookie sheet. That's what it really looks like, but I don't know if our audience really can get that visual unless you're a little older like me. So Scat Mat is a really cool product on that. So that was just an inkling of I've still got plenty of other things that I could have gone through, but a lot of neat things that we did. And I hope I got some creativity going in your minds this week on all these new things that are coming in. Come on in the store. This is what we're all about in our stores, educating you on enjoying that human-animal bond and increasing the health of your dog and how your children even interact with the pets. To how you got it and everything was really cool, and then 6 months later it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Hey, we'll work with you on ways to get that going back in the right direction.
Nice. That's Ron Salzer at Petland of Iowa City, sharing with us some of the things he found at the Minneapolis Trade Show, and a lot of interesting products there. So if any of that triggered your interest, be sure to stop by Petland of Iowa City, located on Lower Muscatine. This has been the Positively Petland Show. Until next week, we'll say goodbye. So thanks for coming along. Stop by and get your $5 nail trims. Buy 10, get one free for their food, free puppy classes on Sunday, and of course, all the products you need to have a happy pet out there. And treats. Don't forget the treats. If you want to reward your dog for good behavior, or if you're trying to train them, be sure to get those treats there at Petland. Lots of those to choose from, too. Ron, thanks. It was fun.
Thank you very much.
Yep, we'll be back next week, same time, same station, 9 a.m., AM 800 KXIC, or on our podcast page at your convenience. Bye.